so many food tours in Rome, how do you know which one to take? Most Rome food tours are concentrated in the city center and well-known areas such as Campo di Fiori, the Jewish ghetto, and Trastevere. Those are all beautiful spots, wonderful neighborhoods, and great areas to take a food tour in. But today, we're taking you somewhere different. Somewhere with more of a local feel, less touristy. Welcome to Testaccio, Rome's 20th rione, or district. This is probably not a neighborhood you're likely to visit on your first visit to Rome, especially if you only have those typical 2 to 3 to 4 days here. The neighborhood does not boast any of the must-see sights like the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain, but it does have something special. The reason Testaccio is an ideal neighborhood to take a Roman food tour is because the neighborhood played a central role in the city's food culture. Testaccio takes its name from the Monte Testaccio, a man-made hill made entirely of teste or amphora, earthenware jars used to transport olive oil and wine in ancient Rome. These fragments came from the nearby oria, or warehouses. In fact, I recently did a video for you about the latest site to open in the Roman Forum, the oria piperataria, which was used to store peppers and other spices. The particular warehouse that I'm referring to once stood near the ancient river port where Rome's food supplies were unloaded and stored. This ancient river port was once the heart of Rome's food system. Testaccio is tucked between Trastevere, the Aventine Hill, San Saba, and Ostiense, a crossroads of history, trade, and working class life. Fast forward to the late 19th century, when Rome became the capital of a newly unified Italy. Between 1888 and 1891, a modern slaughterhouse was built here in Testaccio. And that is when most of the dishes that we consider classic Roman cuisine were born. The slaughterhouse workers were paid in part with the least desirable parts of the animal, known as the quinto quarto. Quinto means fifth, and quarto means fourth. So how do you get a fourth out of an animal? Well, if you split up an animal into 4 parts and those 4 parts get distributed to a wealthier class, what's left over are the parts nobody really wants, the quinto quarto. The intestines, the lung, the brain, kidneys, etc., also known as offal. But ingenious Roman cooks turned some of these humble ingredients, liver, heart, lungs, intestines, into classic Roman dishes like trippa alla romana, paiata, and coratella. We won't be eating any of these dishes today, but it's important that you know about them so that you can understand Rome's culinary history. In 1975, the slaughterhouse was moved, but the complex was eventually converted. It's been reborn as a cultural space, home to a contemporary art museum, pop-up markets, and special events. I'm standing here in Piazza Testaccio, and behind me you can see this iconic fountain that is made up of what look like amphoras. In the 1920s, a sculptor by the name of Pietro Lombardi was tasked with making fountains around the different neighborhoods or rioni of Rome. These fountains were meant to represent something specific about the neighborhood. At the Vatican, this fountain has a papal tiara. On Via Margutta, the fountain represents the theater with theater masks. And here in Testaccio, the #1 symbol of the neighborhood is, of course, the amphora. So now that you understand a little bit about the background of Testaccio, this video is going to be focused on a wonderful food tour that we are about to go on with Devour Tours. As always, full disclosure, Devour Tours invited me on this tour, but nobody tells me what to say. I'm taking this tour today with Alessandro, who was born and raised in Rome. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I pride myself on giving you honest feedback about everything I share with you. Also, Devour Tours is one of my affiliates, which means that if you book anything through them, I'll receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. And this helps to support my work and this channel. Speaking of Alessandro and Romans, he's here with me now, and he is going to tell you why this neighborhood is so special to him.
Actually, my mother was born and raised in this neighborhood, actually a few streets over this way, in the Piazza Testaccio is where we are right now. And I can tell you, after many, many years, the sense and the soul of the neighborhood stays the same. Though maybe colors change, maybe the facade of the buildings, maybe new stores, the markets we will be visiting today. This very piazza is where the old market used to be. And we used to come over maybe Saturdays, maybe Sundays. Sundays for gelato and or pastry. On Saturdays for the market, for meat, just to buy fruits and all that. Because again, so it was my mother's neighborhood when she was a kid. It's still, I think that this could be a nice option for those interested in authentic, not only food, but even feeling, to be connected with once you visit, even for the first time in Rome, if you can make time, of course, for this neighborhood. Again, as Alyssa said, it's not because of the ruins, it's not because of the ancient Rome or the Baroque or the medieval or the artists necessarily. It's because it's really authentic.
All right, just a little bit about the food tour before we get started. I know that we are going to be visiting a local Roman market. I know that we are going to do a lot of food tasting, and this tour includes lunch. It starts at 10:30 and you'll finish around 2 p.m. After the tour, I'm going to let you know about some of the wonderful things there are to see and do right here in this neighborhood and nearby. That way, if you want to explore a little bit after your tour, you have lots of options. Also, you might consider staying here in Testaccio. It's a wonderful place to stay if you want that real, authentic, local Roman neighborhood feel. I don't have specific places to suggest to you for where to stay in Testaccio, but I can suggest staying right on the Aventine Hill just next to us for some beautiful, quiet places to stay and lovely views. All right, let's go meet our guide and the rest of the group, and then let's eat.
So with the coffee, you need a sweet bite. It's very important. For us, without sugar, we cannot start our day. That's why you will have a maritozzo. Now, maritozzo is typical of Rome, only Rome. You will not find in any other town in Italy. And it's funny the name, because maritozzo means fat husband.
All right, ready to bite into my maritozzo. This is too much for me, I'll be too full, so I'm just gonna have one bite.
This place is packed because for our tradition, when we go for lunchtime or dinner time with friends, we come here and we order a lot of different pastries to bring to our friends.
All right, after that amazing breakfast, we are about to head here into Testaccio's famous market. This is where Romans shop daily for fruit, vegetables, meat, fish, etc. As Chiara explained to us, the market is where you go to taste before you buy, where you exchange recipes with the vendors, and where you catch up on the local gossip. Certainly Romans do shop at supermarkets, but the local market is really the beating heart of any given rione or neighborhood in Rome. All right, let me go catch up with Chiara and the group, and let's head inside.
Forget about the classical ham and cheese sandwich. No, this is a little bit depressing. We like something a little bit full of flavor. And this is the case, because here they made all the traditional dishes of Rome in a sandwich size.
Sandwich. I'm gonna jump in. I can already smell how delicious it is. Like one of the best things I've ever eaten. So tender, so tasty, so juicy, and light. It's amazing. The bread is light and crunchy on the outside, but he dipped it in the sauce, so on the inside it's soft. It's perfect.
here to cook pasta. We are here to try 2 different kind of prosciutti, so 2 different kind of ham, cured meat, and then 3 different kind of cheeses. Imagine that this mix of salumi, so ham, salami, etc., and cheeses, formaggi, is a classical of our aperitivo time, happy hour time. That's why you cannot eat all these amazing things without a glass of wine in your hand. And the cool thing about the prosciutto, you will try 2 ham, because I want to show you that when you say prosciutto, doesn't mean anything particular. What I mean, because he had so many different kind of prosciutti that depends what you have in your mind for that day, he can suggest what can be the best. First of all, this beautiful instrument is called tagliere. Tagliere means a wooden board. So every time you see on the menu tagliere di salumi means a wooden board with prosciutti, so ham, salami, or other kind of ingredients. If you want just one with cheeses, it will be tagliere still of formaggi.
Very tasty. Tender. A little bit salty. But that's what Chiara said about this kind of prosciutto.
Mozzarella, in Italy we have 2 different kind of mozzarella. We have mozzarella fior di latte and mozzarella di bufala. Now this one that you will eat is mozzarella di bufala.
So I'm about to taste just a little piece of buffalo mozzarella. It's my favorite mozzarella ever. We'll see. Chewy. Salty. Very tasty. Different.
This, my dear, is pecorino romano. So sheep milk cheese, age less than a Parmigiano Reggiano. Okay, we're speaking about 6-8 months more or less. And is the classical cheese of all the Roman dishes of pasta. First of all, because we laughed a little bit, but second, because bruschetta sounds as a surname of a mafia family in the south.
Taste the bread, you can taste the olive oil. It's perfect. Well, that was amazing, eating all that delectable food, and now we need a tiny break before we head to lunch. So leaving the market behind us, we're just gonna go a block or 2 over this way, and Chiara is going to show us what the Ex-slaughterhouse looks like today. We've just left the Ex-slaughterhouse, and now Chiara is about to take us over here to Monte Testaccio. I decided to stand in this angle because I know some of you like to know where some of Rome's most famous street art is, and that's one of them. One last thing I should mention before I forget is that before you book any food tour with any company, if you have any food intolerances, allergies, requests, you should let them know before you book so you can make sure that they can accommodate you. Well, we have just finished this wonderful tour with Devour Tours. It is now almost 2 o'clock. We have eaten, we've snacked, we've had lunch, we've had wine, we've had dessert. It has been a very full morning. The food is definitely amazing, and being in this part of the city where you're really surrounded by other Romans and not so much tourists is just one of the best ways to take a food tour, I think. And while the location was fantastic and the food was amazing, the best part of this tour, like all the tours I've taken with Devour Tours, has been the guide Chiara. She was just so much fun.
Oh, grazie. Grazie mille.
As she explained to us, Chiara is actually an archaeologist, but she also is Italian and she knows Rome, she knows the cuisine here. So she combined a little bit of archaeology with food history, with the local cuisine, and it was just all around a fantastic tour. I highly recommend this tour. I really loved it. I think that you would love it too if you really want to get a taste, literally, of the real Rome, the Rome where the locals shop and eat. And if you happen to stay in the neighborhood of Testaccio, or you want to do something after your tour, there is a lot to see and do right here. You can go over to the non-Catholic cemetery, also known as the Protestant cemetery or the Englishman cemetery. And right next to that, you'll see a pyramid. This is in fact from ancient Rome. There are the ancient Roman walls right there as well. The Blue Line metro stop is right there, the Piramide metro stop, which will take you to the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. It's one of the papal basilicas. And if you go a little bit further, it's going to take you all the way to Ostia Antica or Ostia Beach. But right back here in the Testaccio neighborhood, we are really close to the Aventine Hill. I've done a whole video about things to see and do in the Aventine, so you can check that out for lots of ideas, like going to see some beautiful gardens and some beautiful views.